It's so great to be here in beautiful downtown Buffalo. I love this place. It's been my home for 59 years, and there is no end in sight. It's a real honor to be able to address all of you here this afternoon, and I want to thank you for being here. The Reverend Martin Niemöller, the heroic leader of the Confessional Church of Germany, took a bold stance when he condemned the racial, discriminatory, and anti-God direction of the Nazi Party. Famously, he said, "First they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me." In his final sermon of June 27, 1937, delivered 4 days before he was arrested and sent to Dachau prison, he declared the following: "No more are we ready to keep silent at man's behest when God commands us to speak. We must obey God rather than man." Amen. And the organizers of this event for having the foresight and the vision to be proactive about a critical issue that seriously threatens our First Amendment rights as people of faith. The time is right, and the time is now. Yale Law professor Stephen Porter rightly pointed out, the wall of separation between church and state is not here to protect the state from the church. Rather, it is there to protect the church from the state. Here, here. It stands as a divide to preserve religious freedom. My father of blessed memory was a survivor of the Holocaust. My maternal grandparents, also of blessed memory, came to these shores in search of religion freedom from the hostile places that forced them to leave. I am not here as the spokesperson for the Jewish community. The views expressed are my own. But my family history we know very well as Jewish history, of what it means to be violently driven from your home when religion freedom is removed. I am disturbed in heart by our seeming collective willingness to forfeit our freedom in exchange for a government promise or handout. Benjamin Franklin rightly said, "People who will give up a little liberty to gain a little security deserve neither and will lose both." I am not a medical expert, but I have enough occasions to travel to enough countries enough times to know that America's medical care is the envy of the world. There may be some problems, but socialized medicine is not the answer. I, for one, do not want to empower the government to make decisions as to who should receive care and who should not, based upon age, health, or other criteria. I, for one, do not want to see medical decisions made by a bureaucrat. We must always be guided by the Judeo-Christian principles, ethics, and standards that were foundational to our nation's founding. The greater majority of our hospitals and healthcare providers here in Buffalo and in Western New York are Catholic-run institutions. When it comes to healthcare, when it comes to education and social services, they are the top of the line in caring, sensitivity, efficiency, and professionalism. These qualities are rarely associated with anything that is government-run or controlled. The President's birth control mandate is an assault on one of our most fundamental constitutional principles. Whether one agrees with the Catholic position on birth control or not, she has the right to conduct her programs and policies in a manner that will not compromise her moral convictions. Not a war on women, as the apologists from the administration want to frame it. If you really want to know who's behind the real war on women, just ask Sarah Palin or Michelle Bachmann, Michelle Malkin, or Ann Romney, and they will tell you. They will tell you that all of the evil discourse comes from people who want to lecture us Americans on civility. Diabolical schemers depend on deception and lies to forward their agenda.
Devil's a liar.
In a stealth and clandestine way, while the American people were busying themselves with Hanukkah and Christmas Eve preparations, Senate Democrats forced Obamacare down our throats. It was the honorable and wise Nancy Pelosi who counseled, but we have to pass the bill so that we can find out what is in it. Who in their right mind thinks and operates like this? If it came from a conservative, they would be laughed out of office. I have never bought into the myth that religion and politics do not mix. They clearly do. Contrary to mainstream opinion, one cannot separate religion from politics. One cannot separate church from state. Every law ever passed represents one person's morality over another person's morality. And so we need to determine whose morality we will follow. Will it be God or will it be religious secularism? The successful proselytizing campaigns of secular religion are no doubt the reason that our society has become so morally confused today. Legal does not always equate to moral. A matter may be legal, but it doesn't make it moral. Slavery was once legal, but it was never moral. Abortion is legal, but it is never moral. Same-sex unions may be legal in New York, but they are not moral. If not for the merging of church and state, there would not have been an abolition movement, and there would not have been a civil rights movement. These were led by ministers who cited biblical texts to seek change in society. Dr. Martin Luther King was one of those ministers. He said the church must be reminded that it is not the master or the servant of the state, but rather the conscience of the state. It must be the guide and the critic of the state and never its tool. John Adams wrote in 1798, our Constitution was made only for moral and religious people. It is wholly inadequate to the government of any other. And lastly, at Hanukkah, we remember the first successful military campaign fought on behalf of religious liberty and freedom.
Amen.
The heroic Maccabees stood up against a powerful state that imposed its idolatry and forbade Jewish practice. Some 200 years later, another oppressor came into Israel, and two great Jewish men had a balanced answer for that age-old conflict pitting church against state. Give to Caesar what is Caesar's, and to God what is God's.
Amen.
And we must obey God rather than men. From the Proverbs, a prince without discernment is a cruel oppressor. First they came for the Catholics. Then they came for the evangelicals. It's not unreasonable then to forecast that they would then come for the Jews and anyone else. The time is now to protect our constitutionally guaranteed religious liberties. The time is now to be strong and to be ever more vigilant as together we labor to preserve the greatness of our great country. Thank you very much.